Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable's After Dark show. I'm Vanessa Collins, joined by Katrina Ness and Ted Ings, and we have two very special guests tonight, Pete Caruson from VisionAST, and of course, Ed Roberts. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Welcome, everybody. Wow. Katrina, we got some firepower in the house tonight.
We do. Vanessa and I met Peter for the first time in person at the Bozard Ford Lincoln pop-up event that we did in December. So that was awesome. And we got to interact with Ed there as well. So it was a great connector of us all at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. And Pete, where are you tonight?
Tonight I am in wintry northern New York. I stopped saying upstate because that puts me about 2 hours south of here. So north country.
Okay. Any snow?
Yeah, we got 10 inches over the weekend, which it's been more of a winter. The winters we had become accustomed to. I thought they were going away, but they're back.
They're back, Pete. Yeah. So
Unfortunately.
Ed, how's the winter down there in Florida?
Bright and sunny and 80 degrees. I'm game.
All right. Yeah, Pete, we had some snow over the weekend. Some more coming in this week, I see.
Yeah, I'm not traveling anywhere. Yourself?
No, I am not. Others, I think, on the DS tonight are traveling later in the week. But I'm not sure if they're going to hit snow or not. Alexander Maison, good evening. Good to see you, my friend. We're going to see you on Friday later this week. And Brooke Engelhardt, of course. Katrina, Brooke is amazing. I mean, she's like everywhere. And like she's like, the all-star student.
Brooke is awesome. I ran into her today, and it's always a pleasure seeing her. I know Vanessa did a little date Galentine's Day with her, and they got coffee. Oh,
We made bracelets and got coffee, did some homework. But yeah, Brooke is amazing. She's been involved in so much here on campus over the past 4 years. So yeah, she is just a great Northwood student and a representation of the university.
Great to see you, Brooke, and Alexander as well. So they represent very well. Coralie, good evening. Following all your classes online. So congratulations to you, Coralie. And great news. Mike Walden, good evening. Yeah, looking forward to it as well. Ed, we saw Mike a little bit earlier this year.
Yeah, I saw Mike in Atlanta, and it was good to catch up. We was both at NADA, but missed each other there. So, but yeah, it was good to catch up with him earlier this year.
And I see Tony and Jim Sabino in the chat. Sean Kingery, bring that back up. You're getting some snow. 12 to 18 inches coming Wednesday to Madison. Wow.
Oh my.
It's winter.
The groundhog did not lie.
Yeah, we have our 5 days of winter here, so we're done with that. I'll leave that with you guys. We'll be 78 tomorrow and 84 on Wednesday.
Maybe I will be traveling this week after all.
Vanessa, that groundhog's usually right. So
I know. And unfortunately this year, I mean, we're seeing a lot of snow here in Michigan. It's been snowing past few days. And I don't know. I just want spring to hit and roll into summer. I miss the warm weather.
That's right. We got to get to this month though first. So Jim, good evening to you as well. And Sean Kingery, first of the year. So here we are. So a lot happening in our industry right now. A lot of change going on, a lot of AI conversations. Pete, do you get asked about AI as well as part of what you do?
Quite a bit. People are curious what the application is going to be. And certainly we've seen it come into the automotive space. And I think everyone's still trying to find out, at least for me in the conversations I have, what are the practical applications? There's a lot of saying you use AI or trying to apply it just to be part of the trend, but what are the practical applications that'll really benefit everyone? And I think a lot of that remains to be seen, but it's a daily conversation for sure.
Ed, we saw Pete at your dealership 2 months ago in December, and a lot going on with what he's doing with the metrics and a lot of the numbers that he tracks.
Absolutely. I'm with him there. I don't know if AI really complements that because he delivers what we're producing. So he's got a great dashboard that keeps things in front of us. And AI may tie some of that together, but AI has its place in about everything out there. But as far as delivering a message, we create it, and he creates a dashboard to show us what it is.
So Pete, tell us a little bit about what VisionAST does. Since we're talking about AI, tell us a little bit how you incorporate it, if you do, and overall what your company does.
Yeah, so we integrate with all the DMSs to speak of. Some you probably never even heard of, and just we extract the performance metrics from that big pool of inventories, auto inventory, parts inventory, accounting, and all of the RO and transactional data. We pull the performance metrics out for anyone who is graded on performance and where we can really move the needle, and we put it in a nice user interface so we can see what's happening in real time and make the adjustments we need to make from a personnel standpoint, whether it's coaching and training or, effective pay plans for that matter. We help in a lot of those ways.
Pete, I guess everybody in retail is graded on performance. What do you say?
I would say at the end of the day, everyone's graded on performance. That is very true.
Yeah.
And your paycheck comes from your performance in retail for sure.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. And we play a big part in a lot of pay plans where we become the reporting of record. We're pulling that information out quickly, and what it does also is allows the performers to see where they stand, and it impacts their performance in real time and helps them strive to come out on top and drive their paycheck, among other things.
Katrina, I see Jeremy Stevens in the chat tonight, Trevor Shannon, of course, Mike Stoll, our great friend from CDK. In Mike's fixed operations class, I know you went through that, Katrina. Does he cover performance metrics and things like that we need to be aware of at the dealership?
Definitely a little bit. So we take a fixed operations class with my major where we write a workflow. So we really get to see the best practices when it comes to the service drive, including different metrics and, looking at that data and then taking that into a dealership and, discussing with general managers and service directors on how this workflow works and how it would perform. So that's what I love about Northwood. It's great when integrating into the real world and into the automotive industry. So it's a great school.
Mike, I would ask you how much snow you got up there in Michigan, but I have a feeling that you are not in cold Michigan right now. You're somewhere warmer where there's no snow. So congratulations to you. So, hey, you know Mike Stoll, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got all the you got everyone out there tonight. That's a great audience.
Yes.
We got Jeremy and Tony, and everybody's out there.
Definitely.
And what metrics do you track on mobile? Anything different than what goes in the main shop?
We don't track anything. Why would we track anything? No, certainly there's the things that you would track in the main shop, but there's a whole nother element of things that you would track in mobile, because there's things our technician are advisors as well as the technician. And then there's travel time. There's so many other things. So yes, there's a lot that layers on top of what you would normally track for a technician standpoint, because they're filling the role of a couple positions.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Is Mike near you there, Cortez, Florida?
I don't know where Cortez is. Maybe that's out in the Panhandle. I'm not sure. I'll look it up here real quick.
All right, Mike, give us some feedback on that. But Ed, a lot on the mobile stuff that you and Jeremy continue to learn and continue to make better, and you've learned so much about that business. Ed, you could write a book on that.
The mobile is exactly what we created. It isn't that we're chasing after what someone else has done or whatever else. We're carving our way through it, and every day we run into new obstacles. But obstacles is just made to learn. It's just an opportunity to get better. Cortez is over by Sarasota, just south of Tampa, south of Tampa and St. Pete. So yeah, he's enjoying some great weather over there.
Lucky.
He's over close to my daughter.
Oh, that's right, Emily. Yeah, very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Peter, tell us how you got into the auto industry and where'd you start? Were you working in a dealership? Have you always been on the vendor side? Give us a little insight.
Yes, I got started in advertising and I'm dating myself, which is hard to believe, and naming a newspaper or even referencing newspapers dates you. It's a crazy world. So I was in newspaper advertising, specializing in automotive advertising. So to even make it sound worse, it was before email, and you couldn't really fax full page ads back to the dealer. So it was the first trip in the morning was around to all the dealers to reserve space. The second trip back, because no one's prepared in retail, the second trip was to get ad copy and take photos of the cars. And the third trip was with a proof of the ad at the end of the day and a frantic scramble back to the paper to get the ad approved. So then I found some clients that way and started an ad agency and ultimately got invited to be full-time in a dealer group handling marketing. That turned into operations, that turned into my interest in what lies inside of a DMS. So built some spreadsheets and started pulling performance data and metrics, and incredibly cumbersome, and the rest is history. I saw a need and used the power of persuasion with the dealer principal to invest in a platform that today we call VisionAST, and worked our way into parts and service in the last couple of years and getting really good at that side after really spending some significant time perfecting the F&I side and appealing to the masses there. We took our talents to the service and parts side, and now we do it all, and even beyond automotive into power sports as well.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, a lot of similarities there. It's interesting to compare and contrast those two industries. There's so much to learn from automotive, and if they can retain their enthusiasm for their industry, they've got it licked.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Pete, from starting in a dealership to now being the CEO of a dealership technology company, what do you find the most successful dealers are doing today in terms of embracing new technology?
Yes. So one of the things that I alluded to it earlier is, as much as you can tie the benefits that technology can bring to a dealership to a pay plan or to a benefit to the individuals that are using the technology, sometimes it's saving them a ton of time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it is helping them to actually perform at a higher level. Sometimes it is making the customer experience better, that in turn results in higher CSI scores for themselves and ultimately leads to better performance as well. So as much as you can tie the individual employee into the success of whatever the technology is, the more they're going to embrace it, adopt it as part of their process, and squeeze the most out of that technology, get the most benefit they can. So I really, rather than it being a top-down, here's what we're doing today, it's let me help you be better at what you do, and here's some technology that we've invested in to help make you better at what you do in your role.
Ed, I would imagine you use a lot of different companies over the years. I know you have a big relationship, long one, with Reynolds and Reynolds. Sorry, Mike, on the DMS side. But what attracted you to Pete and VisionAST in terms of handling the metrics at Bozard? What was give us some insight on that.
I was talking earlier about what retail is and all the elements that comes along with that. And there's so many things that you can measure, and you can get lost in all this stuff. And reality is you can't improve what you don't track. You can't intentionally improve what you don't track. So putting the right things in front of the right people allows you to have a very pointed conversation and keep everyone on track so that we can push in the right direction and improve the things that we should be striving to work in. Because just going in and just trying to do more of what we did yesterday, then we're just surviving the day. We're not really grasping what our opportunities are. And when you're tracking the right things, there's some eye-opening things. You think, well, I didn't think there was no way we was there. I didn't think we was that bad here. I didn't think we was that. You have to track it to improve it, and you have to track the right things to improve it. So the putting the right things in front of you, so it's not information overload, is instrumental, and putting them there at a where it's easy to access and it's always there in front of you.
If there's something in particular that you want to look at, Ed, that maybe other dealers don't look at as much, mobile might be something. Are you able to tell Pete and have him add that to, I guess, their dashboard, their visuals, so that it's something that you can check on regularly?
Absolutely. Everyone has their things that they look at, and I call it the impactful 10. There's always those things that you want to look at with whatever department it is. And yes, as you focus on something, it should improve, and then you can move things higher on the priority list and move things down. So the idea is to modify it and keep it flexible so that you're focusing on the opportunities to get better. And that's where Pete really comes into play. Is this thing is totally customizable. What may be important to you, Ted, that you want to look at may be totally different than what we want to look at or one of my department heads want to look at. But let's build it around the strengths and allow them to focus on those things. And then if we can get those things to where we want them to be, and we feel like there's some other things, well, then that's where learning comes into play. We put something else up there for us to track and learn how to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Katrina, I like that. Mike refers to an edism, so we're gonna have to start using that.
I love it.
Yes.
That's awesome. So this can be a question for both Pete and Ed, but what would you give as some helpful advice when dealers are looking at all the new technology companies that are coming along, and what advice would you give them when choosing them and looking into them and deciding what would fit best for them?
Why don't you go first, Pete?
Loaded
Okay.
question.
Yeah, sure. So in addition to trying to incorporate it into a pay plan, if that's a possibility, if that makes sense, also you're looking for a partner. They may be a vendor, they have a technology you're interested in, but they should be coming into your business, invited into your business to help you improve your business.
Mm-hmm.
So that isn't just a single metric. That isn't just a price point. It is, how does it fit into your culture? How does this technology and the team behind it work with your team? Certainly some things I often think about is, in our case, we only have long-term agreements for customers or clients who request them for perhaps they've tried us long enough that they say, okay, I want to lock in long-term for some other benefits we might be able to provide. But it's not a requirement to do business with us, because if our platform works, our team supports you and drives the result, we're invited in every day. It's not because there's a contractual obligation. It's because we're a vital part of your team. Every vendor should be taking that approach. And we've paused with clients. I've had vendors that I've worked with in the past that have paused. Hey, I need a few months breathing room here. Don't give up on me. I just can't manage it right now. I need to make a budget adjustment right now. Sure thing. We'll be here when you get back. And it's amazing how often that comes back to us in so many other ways, even in referrals to go with it. So that partnership is so important. We should be once removed from bringing on a new employee. and we should be viewed that way. And we certainly approach the business that way. And I think any good vendor stands behind their product at that level.
Definitely.
So Pete is on the vendor side. Now I answer that differently, being on the dealer side. And there's vendors, and I say vendors because we'll get into partners and those things in a few minutes. There's vendors that beat our door down every single day. And they tell you that they have the silver bullet. They have exactly what you need to do everything you need to do. Sell you 30 more cars, do you this, do that, whatever. That's their pitch. And the reality of that is that's not necessarily accurate. There is no silver bullet. There is no one thing that Pete, Ted, I, you, Katrina, you, Vanessa, can drop to our audience tonight and say, if you go do this, you'll be the company that you're looking to be. There is no one thing. So but they always beat on our door and say, hey, and it doesn't matter who you have that relationship with. They want you to fire them and hire them. That's what vendors do. Now, if you want to create that partnership, you come in and you ask the right questions. Who are you using for these? How's that working for you? And you try to build value with the elements of opportunity that they may not be filling. Well, that becomes more of a sales cycle where you have to go back and you have to do some research. You have to come back and say, okay, well, I think we can overcome some of the obstacles that you're having there. But to go in and make that close, it is just a vendor. So to move it to a partnership, you have to create that relationship. And when you create the relationship, then you are bringing something to the party rather than say, hey, fire that vendor, bring me on. I can do this. I can do that. Well, maybe you can, but what are we going to lose if you can do that? I'm certain we're going to lose something else because there is no one silver bullet, because if there was, everybody would be buying it. And there is no one vendor, partner, or relationship that everybody chases after. It's what fits them. And that's the cool element with Peter. I can pick up the phone if we want to make an adjustment. If we want to look at him, he's there. He's with his team. He can make the changes that we need to, or have someone on the team make the changes that he needs to if he's hanging out down here in Florida trying to escape some of the snow. And and that's the partnership. That's the relationship where we can all win from. And when we're working together and saying, okay, yes, I got that. Or hey, here, this may be something that we're missing. Let's look at this. That's our opportunity.
It is well said.
I love that.
Yeah. Ed, not every company thinks like that, as you know.
That is for sure. They look for the yes. They look for the close. They don't look to create the relationship that really leaves long standing. So unfortunately, they're always looking for the close.
I love the idea of partnership and not, just the vendor, being more than that, adjusting to needs and being able to pick up the phone whenever your customer needs, for sure. That's great.
And if you're really paying attention,
and Trevor a little further south. Go ahead there, Pete.
Yeah, and if you're really paying attention to your client's business, you should understand other challenges that they're having that you might not be able to resolve, but have the resources or know of a resource, a connection that can solve to that issue. And that's not always what's in it for you. It really should never be what's in it for you. But if you help, it's age old. If you're helping other people, it'll come back to you. And, my team is always looking at what are the challenges of our clients as a whole, well beyond analytics and reporting, and using our industry knowledge, our retail auto experience to bring some suggestions and other solutions to bear.
Definitely.
Very well said, Jeff Bulgaski. Welcome. Yeah, ask and listen.
Yeah. So Pete, what's next for VisionAST? It's still early in 2025. So what are you looking forward to the most for this year?
So we talked about AI a little bit, and I don't want to get into, promising the world, but what I see happening this year and into the next few years is bringing together, I think, the structure of what reporting looks like and analytics look like, and the use of data looks like, is going to change quite a bit. And what I believe will happen, and what we're working toward, is data from a variety of sources, not just DMS, but it might be CRM data, factory data, CSI scores, things like that, where it all gets brought into what I'll call a data lake that can be accessed. So where some of that artificial intelligence comes in is natural language, where I can say, I can look at, show me, let's talk parts for a minute. Show me the most profitable parts on this model, and on what vehicle is it being sold on. Or if I'm looking at a service advisor, I can just ask the question, show me all my service advisors that are above this effective labor rate, and what is the average CSI score? And it's going to not only spit that back to me, but also graph it for me. So the idea of looking at reports and, a library of reports and populating them and setting your filters, you'll just be asking it a question of your own data, and it'll all be available. And these queries that you can set will remain. So that question that I just asked will always be updating every time the data updates. That query will update. So I could have a ticker there telling me the answer to that every day. Now, that's probably not the best example, but it was off the top of my head. But you could have some of those top things that Ed likes to look at, and they could update every day and very specific. Let's say he's got an issue that they're really trying to address, a very specific one that might be just for the month of February. It might be something that he's focusing on. So he can set up his own little widget, and that's updating every single day. No help from us, no setup, no cost. It's just something that he built out that he wanted the answer to for that time period, and it'll remind him every day.
That's incredibly exciting and definitely beneficial to the dealership. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to give a different visual on what data can do for us. Look at what took place last night. We had the Super Bowl, and the underdogs 100% controlled the game. Now, they was underdogs based on the data of the historical elements of that data. Well, if you're going to dive into those things, well, that data also gives you the elements of what they may not be good at, and then build your team around being able to capitalize on those opportunities and look at the outcome. The Kansas City Chiefs was still a great football team last night, but the Eagles was prepared to tackle their weakness, their areas of vulnerability. That's what data can do for you, but you have to be able to use data in elements of, yes, what am I doing right? But what is my area that I can do better at? Where's what? And then also compare yourself to others. And so different way of looking at it, but that's exactly what took place last night. That fits with the audience out there. Most everybody in the audience watched that game, and that is what they took, the data that they had, and prepared to overcome those obstacles. And then you see the outcome.
Perfectly executed.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a great edism. Wow. Spot on, Ed. Very well said. Yeah.
Execution takes preparation, and preparation, you have to have something to prepare to. So that's where the data comes into play. Yeah.
All right. Pete, in our closing moments, anything you want to share for 2025? Things that our audience should be aware of in the industry, things that you're looking at. You've told us a couple of those already, but it's still early in the year, and we got a lot of runway ahead of us. I'll ask Ed the same question.
Yeah, I would like people to just understand that we are open to evaluating cutting edge ideas and things people may be looking at on their own that haven't been brought onto our platform, or are very time consuming and are looking to alleviate some of that effort. We're trying to be right on the front cutting edge of these kind of things, and not so much so that we're not paying attention to the tried and true, but to really not become just another thing off the shelf, but rather adapting to what's working in the industry and as this industry is evolving so quickly, and we all know parts and service is becoming so important to dealership profitability right now. And when people are finding those opportunities to focus on an area that's really generated some growth and some profitability or some efficiencies, we want to know about it. We want to be able to build to that. So we're easy to find, easy to contact, and share your stories with us, please. We are an open book as well. So we love to have those conversations and looking to have more of them.
Thank you, Pete. Ed, anything we should be aware of looking at?
Well, you said we're still early in the year, and one of the things that we learn on the fixed ops side is you don't get time back. So we're 41 days deep into the year already. Today's the 10th. We had 31 days last month. The year is over 10% over. And so you got to ask yourself, am I different from when I started the year already? Because every day is an opportunity to get better. Just because we still have a lot of year left in front of us, if we're not making progress, we're probably not preparing to make progress. And there's opportunity to get better every day. And ask yourself, have I used the first 41 days to get better? And if you haven't, you might want to do something different for the next 41 days.
Love it.
I like that.
Well said. Ed Roberts and Pete Caruson, thank you for being with us tonight. Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln. Mile 1, I see there below your name, Ed. I like that. We'll find out more about that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, soon. And then Pete Caruson from VisionAST. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Ladies, on Wednesday night, we have a great friend of the Fixed Ops Roundtable on with us as a special guest. I won't give it away tonight, but he has not been on in some time. He'll be with us on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to that show. It should be very educational and entertaining as well. So that'll be on Wednesday. So on behalf of Katrina and Vanessa, I'm Ted Ings, and on behalf of Pete Caruson from VisionAST and Ed Roberts, Mile 1. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you on Wednesday, everybody.